Self-love, the key to happiness, health, and success in life. Self-love defined. Self-love is defined as the love and acceptance of oneself. It is a universal need that everyone has, but not everyone understands what it means to love oneself. The idea of self-love can be broken down into two parts: self-compassion and self-acceptance. Self-compassion is being kind to oneself in times of struggle or failure, while self-acceptance is recognizing one's strengths and weaknesses without judgment or criticism. How self-love can influence your happiness levels. Self-love is often thought of as the most important factor in determining your happiness levels. The more you love yourself, the more you are able to be happy and satisfied with life. A lot of people think that it is easy to love themselves, but this is not always the case. We have all been through difficult times in our lives where we do not feel like we deserve to be happy or loved. This can happen because of past experiences or trauma, negative influences from friends or family, lack of self-confidence, lack of support from others. The first step towards self-love is recognizing these factors and how they affect your life. Once you start working on these things, it becomes easier to love yourself and feel happier about who you are. Self-love is an important element of mental health. It is also important to note that self-love does not mean self-absorption or narcissism, because it includes one's acceptance of their own flaws, mistakes, and imperfections. A lack of self-love often leads to a variety of mental health issues, such as depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and substance abuse. Self-love is the most important thing we can do for ourselves. It's the only thing that will never let us down. It's the foundation of our happiness, our health, and everything else we want in life. We are social beings, and a lot of what we do is based on what other people think about us. But self-love is different from other kinds of love. Self-love is unconditional, and it doesn't matter how others treat you or if they don't like you, because self-love comes from within. Self-love versus self-destructive behavior. Self-destructive behaviors are not simply a way to deal with negative emotions. They are often a way of coping with stress and anxiety. Many people who self-harm do not want to, but instead want to feel something other than the pain they are feeling. Self-destructive behaviors can be seen as the opposite of self-love. Self-love is about accepting oneself, flaws and all, and being kind to oneself. Self-destructive behavior is about punishing oneself for perceived shortcomings or mistakes in some form or another, typically based on childhood trauma. Practicing self-love in relationships. Self-love is a concept that many people talk about but few understand. Self-love is not about being selfish and thinking only of oneself. Instead, it is about learning to love oneself unconditionally from the inside out. It is about taking care of one's needs and desires in a way that feels good to the individual and not in a way that feels like it benefits someone else. Some people have a hard time understanding how self-love can be beneficial for their relationships. They think if they are taking care of themselves and their needs, then they are not really available to be there for their partner or family members when they need them most. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. When you practice self-love, you are able to be there for those who need you. So, how do we practice self-love in a world filled with harsh criticism? It's important to be kind to yourself and not compare yourself to others. To love who you are and what you have accomplished. I hope that through this video, I was able to share with you some of my thoughts on self-love, as well as some tips for how we all can practice it in our own lives. Be well and choose love over fear.